I am a really weak person, both physically and mentally. I don't really work out consistently, and I don't really try to maintain my mental health by doing things properly, and it has affected me significantly. So I want to speak about it. And welcome to day 113 of my 365-day series. I'm Glorporous, and I play Minecraft while thinking out loud. Today, I'm gonna be working on some of the glass here and making sure that this house looks alright from the outside. Then we get to the insides. And I haven't really thought of the interior for this thing, but I assure you guys, I'll figure it out. Okay, so I'll place some torches here, and for the most part, it looks alright. I think we have plenty of space to work with here, and we're just gonna be making an auto smelter. Anyway, I wanted to speak about my mental health, or you know what, actually scrap that. Let's talk about my physical health first. I am not really doing good in that department. Like I said, I don't work a lot, or work out a lot, and it has really started to take effect. It's very visible, and I had a physical education test recently. Well, I'm not even sure if it was a test, but I think, well, if it was some sort of assessment. And during this assessment, we had to run 6 laps around what I believe to be a 200-meter circuit. And it absolutely sucked. I was supposed to do it in 5 minutes, and I ended up getting a time of 8 minutes something, or 7 minutes, honestly, but I'm pretty sure it was 8 minutes. And the reason for that is because I walked. I was very inconsistent. I wasn't jogging consistently because I could literally feel my legs giving out right below me. Like, I could feel my calves were getting really sore, and I felt like I could not jog, or else my body would start to fail. So I just started walking, and I told myself in my head, screw this, I'm just gonna do it however I want. And I did. I did it however I want, but it's embarrassing. I might have gotten worse than literally every other student in my grade, and that is embarrassing. I don't think anyone else can get a lower score than I did, or a longer time than I did. And I sort of thought of this topic while that happened. So I'm a really weak-minded person. I don't really have the motivation to do things for myself. Although I've been mentioning it frequently throughout this entire channel, I've been really inconsistent. It sucks. I haven't really been keeping my promises. I haven't really been putting work in towards myself. I constantly ask other people, do you guys know what you're gonna be doing in the future? I ask the friends I have at school that, and they might tell me they don't know, but they're going somewhere. They know of a certain direction in life, and I don't have that. I believe that I'm not gonna make it in life. And that sort of belief is what I believe to be what caused me to run very slow. It wasn't even running. We were supposed to be jogging at a consistent pace, and I did exactly the opposite of that, and it just sucked. Okay, I wanna not speak about it, but unfortunately, this whole channel is basically about me documenting myself. So unfortunately, I will just have to mention this, and it will stay on this channel forever within this video. So I'm just gonna place all of these blocks here, and now I'm not entirely sure what I should do. Do I have glass? Oh yeah, I do actually. Alright, so we're just gonna be working on the windows of this little place, and once we're done with that, I guess we just work on the interior, but I haven't really worked out a design for the auto smelter, but I keep saying I'll get to that in a future video, and then I never end up doing that. See, that's the thing. I have a weak mind. I don't really keep my promises because I don't believe in myself. And I feel like that's a really good way to observe this whole thing, I guess. Oh right, and also I haven't added some stuff there. I really need to. So I will in just a second. If I could just sleep. Thank you. Yeah, press F to pay respects. So I don't know. Okay, I literally stood out from every other person in my class, but for the wrong reason. Like, one of my friends, very athletic, plays basketball, yada yada yada. You get the gist of that, right? They got 4 minutes and 36 seconds, which is amazing. The score for 100 would have been like 5 minutes, and he exceeded that tremendously. So did I. Just the opposite way. And I think I'm just in my head too much. Like right now, I told myself I was gonna add some stuff onto this building, and then I never ended up getting it. So I'm gonna be doing that. But like I said, I'm really stuck inside of my head. I keep replaying my mistakes. I keep telling myself, you screwed up big time, and everyone's gonna see your mistakes. And it bothers me a lot. So I didn't really plan this video out. Usually I'll have a list of thoughts that I want to get into, but I think it's best if I try to be more unfiltered this time around. So I'm not really following any sort of script this time. I'm speaking as myself. I'm speaking as not I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so this is the build. I think we just need to add some more stuff here. Talks. A little bit more here, and then I guess here. Alright, nice. So we just add some stuff here. Look, I don't know how to continue this topic, but I've been telling myself that I've been meaning to get into more exercise, you know, be a healthier person, and like I said again, I don't keep my promises because I'm a very weak-minded person. I don't exactly have a clear goal for this year. When I first started this channel, I sort of did it with the goal of changing. And I wasn't really specific on what sort of change that would be, whether it would be physical, mental, in terms of knowing about what I'm gonna do in the future. I didn't really plan things out. I just told myself, you're gonna have to move at some point, and I didn't. Okay, I don't really have the courage to move. I don't know what it takes to move. Like earlier in that physical education thing. Oh, and now I actually just recalled one of the topics I wanted to talk about, but this isn't something that I deliberately memorized for this video. It's just something that came across my head. I have a sort of quiz tomorrow, and this quiz takes a while to study for. Can't exactly say what subject, because yeah, you know, it's just some random subject. Let's just keep it that way. And I told myself that I'd be studying for it rigorously today. I never did that. It's 8:30 p.m., which is actually very good recording time for me, but I mean, you know, it's whatever. But I am recording this at 8:30 and I have not studied whatsoever. And usually when I study, it takes about an hour and maybe even more than that, especially for these types of assignments. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be finishing this anytime soon. So Again, this has everything to do with me being a very weak-minded person, and sometimes I just wish to myself, someone's gonna be out there and they're just gonna save you. And also, you might be noticing this blank little thing here. I wanted to put all my thoughts for this little area here because I don't really keep track of what I want to do. You know, like I might say this one day and then I'll say another thing another day, and then I end up getting neither of them done. So maybe if I put them here, did not mean to break that. I could maybe know my task better and start really finishing things up, especially during this time where I'm gonna be having a lot of exams and I'm gonna need to study more. So there's a lot of pressure, and unfortunately, having a weak mind like I do is absolutely not the way to cut this. Like this is gonna go bad, like really really bad, unless I start taking immediate action about my situation and start genuinely prioritizing myself. But I think there's something I can really infer from me not running the 5 minutes, or like me not reaching the 5 minute goal properly or in time, because I don't really prioritize myself. I don't really have an egoist mindset where I'll be like, oh, you know what? I do not care about anyone else. The point is I'm gonna get this done. No, I don't think like that. And it sucks. I really wish I could, but part of me sort of just denies being able to do that. And I don't know. Okay, it's weird. Definitely. It's just I'm never really I've never liked being egoist, and it's because I made a lot of egoistic, I don't even know what the specific word is, but I used to be a really terrible person back then. Well, not really terrible, like I would have friends, like the same friends I still have now, but I was genuinely not a good kid, like during ages 10 to 13 maybe, and now I'm 16. And the only reason I have my friends now is because they were tolerant to begin with. They could handle me. And now I'm beginning to realize that, oh, I need to handle myself. I can't just, wreck everywhere and not care about anything or everyone. I genuinely need to start being a more aware person. And that's not something that I've been doing. So, what can I really do now? I guess be a less egotistical person, but at the cost of feeling this sort of constant regret. Like earlier during that physical education thing, I felt such an immense amount of embarrassment, and yet I still felt like, oh, you know what, this feeling's gonna pass. And it will, and it's right to an extent. I will pass this sort of thought, but at the same time, I need to confront this sort of issue properly before I start drowning in it, before I start thinking to myself always that I'm gonna be fine. The way I do things, I'm always gonna manage. I won't. This world is very competitive, at least, and the least I could do is to start pushing myself more, because I really I wish a lot of the time for people to start pushing me, to start sort of noticing that I need help. And when I wish for that, I sort of just think to myself like, oh, that just sort of means I would have to push myself, even though very clearly I have to if I want to make it in life. I I don't really know what I want to do in my life, but The one thing I know for sure is I want to make it out at least alive and genuinely content with where I'm at one point in my life. Like, I want to reach the peak of peaks. I just want to be successful in a way that only I can define, and that's pretty difficult. Anyway, I'm gonna finish up this floor very soon. It's turning nighttime yet again, so this video very well could be like 20 minutes, and I'm too lazy to edit. So again, all my videos are gonna be very unedited, and I'm very sorry about that. But I need to manage, and I need to sort of study for that quiz I mentioned earlier. So, alright, let's just sleep, and then I'll just try to finish the floor. And in the meantime, look, another thing that I want to mention, and I only realized this now, is I keep pointing out my flaws and then I never end up doing anything about them. For this entire channel, this channel's existence has been to record myself, and for the most part, I've only really noticed that I criticize myself very heavily, and I never really applaud myself for the sort of hardships that I do. Not like there are any. See, I know that's an example of me not really appraising myself, but I just feel like I don't really deserve it, you know? Like, there's no ego in my mindset. I just sort of believe that I'm secondary to everything else that's happening to me. I feel like I'm a very reactive person, and I never really try to take action. You know what, I'll mention this now. It happened a few days ago, I think like 4 or 3 days ago, but basically one of my friends, he's sort of leaning into acquaintance because, I don't know, the sort of status that he carries is very acquaintancey. But basically, I'm in the student council organization in my school, and they were asking for people to like take up these roles, and I responded really late because I was very hesitant, and other people ended up taking all the available roles for something that I feel like I would have been very good at. So my friend, I guess you could call him that, sort of pushed me into taking another task which might involve speaking with higher ups. And when I say higher ups, I mean 12th grade students, because I'm in 10th grade right now. So like people basically 2 years older than me, and I know no one, and I don't know how to speak, but I was pushed to do something, and I might need to start taking notes. Anyway, I think that's all I can really say for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Look, we're finally getting somewhere. I know this build has taken ages to finish, but if we just look at it from a very specific angle, you can see that it looks I don't know, you can't really see this thing because of the trees behind it, but I assure you guys, it's finally taking shape, and I'm starting to see progress. I mean, I've always been progressing, but like this time it's just very slow. But I guess that's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.